Good morning, dear colleagues, dear Chair. Thank you very much for introduction. Many thanks for invitation to attend the Tsuruga International Symposium and discuss such relevant topics as decommissioning of nuclear power plants and regional development. My name is Tetiana Kilochitska. Originally, I am from Ukraine. Now I am working in the IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, as decommissioning specialist, and so my section is decommissioning and environmental remediation section. My presentation includes two parts. The first one is an overview of the IAEA activity that we are implementing, such as development of publications, different international projects, networking activity, training activity, international peer reviews, review missions, and collaborating activities. The second part covers several examples of socio-economical impact of decommissioning and actions addressed to regional development, including involvement of stakeholders, interested parties, in planning of future life of site and surrounding areas. This is a set of existing IAEA safety requirements and guidance on decommissioning. All these documents are the IAEA safety standards. A bit later, I will show you other IAEA documents that demonstrate experience and lessons learned obtained by member states regarding implementation of the IAEA safety standards. You can see in red so-called GSR Part 6 on decommissioning of facilities that formulates 15 requirements for decommissioning safety. And you can see in green different guidance to provide the users with details for application of the requirements for large or small nuclear facilities, to cover safety assessment of decommissioning, release of sites after completion of decommissioning, and application of clearance concept. Of course, we have process of revision of documents, and for the moment, some of documents have been revised or under development. In this regard, the new IAEA safety guidance about the national policies and strategies for the safety of decommissioning waste and spent fuel management, decommissioning and remediation are developing. Yeah, this one. And I would like to focus the development of the new specific safety guide on application of the concept of clearance is close to finalization. This guide, together with the guide of the concept of exemption, will supersede the IAEA publication on application of concepts of exclusion, exemption, and clearance. So this is quite old safety guidance. The main purpose of these guides, but mainly application of concept of clearance, is to provide the users with more technical and organizational details how to establish and apply the clearance criteria and levels, to provide release of materials from regulatory control, their reuse and recycling. We all know that such activity is to minimize the amount of radioactive waste, first of all. And last but not least, the IAEA document from the safety report series, yes, is green, about decommissioning strategies for facilities using radioactive material, is currently under revision. The main reason of revision is to update and clarify the process of selection of decommissioning strategies based on the IAEA requirements and collected national experience and feedback. For instance, you may know that IAEA currently doesn't use the entombment as decommissioning strategy. As I told already, the agency is developing different types of publications classified like a series. On this slide, you can see the recent publications from the nuclear energy series in dark blue and so-called IAEA technical documents, TechDoc series. These documents covered such aspects as cost estimating for research reactors, decommissioning of particle accelerators, decommissioning of a multi-facility site, managing and remediation of damaged nuclear facilities, training and human resources considerations for decommissioning. This is a set of recently published documents. All these documents, such as many others, can be found and uploaded from the IAEA website. Now I would like to show you the IAEA e-tool overall picture. First, I would like to focus on the IAEA networks. Yes, this is a set. Created for different areas of nuclear technology use. For example, we are dealing with so-called international decommissioning network. Okay, but also we have network of environmental management and remediation, EnviroNet, and different other networks. All these networks are informational platforms or portals to collect and share information about the project and relevant activities in particular areas, of course. There are public and member pages, and you need to be registered to be a member of any network. Next is the IAEA e-learning. There is a set of different online training courses have been developed yet, in particular for introduction to technical and non-technical aspects of decommissioning. In addition, the IAEA is developing so-called nuclear wiki, this one, that is much more oriented to professional users, means registration is needed, of course. We would like to collect and share as much as possible of technical articles and examples of real documents, case studies for decommissioning. For instance, some users are interested to have some examples of decommissioning plans. Plus, the IAEA is managing a lot of specialized databases to collect information about all nuclear power plants and research reactors, fuel cycle facilities. Now, little bit details about the International Decommissioning Network. This is a platform for collaboration and interaction among individuals and organizations involved in the decommissioning of nuclear facilities. Open for representatives of facility owners, decommissioning implementers, regulatory agencies, waste management organizations, and research organizations. It has been decided recently to organize the IAEA every 2 years, the IDN Biennial forums. Earlier it was done annually. Forum is like small conference, I would like to say. As usually, we share information about international and national decommissioning activities during these forums. In addition, we define some specific and practically interesting topics. Last time we met in December 2021, and we could exchange experience addressed to involvement of young generation in decommissioning, recent technical innovations in decommissioning projects, enhancing knowledge sharing on decommissioning. Next IDN forum is planned in November next year or beginning of December, and we plan to discuss different aspects of human resources development for decommissioning. Training. I told you about online training courses available for decommissioning. In addition, the IAEA is organizing training coursing within the Technical Cooperation Program as well. In particular, we are implementing the training courses within the large international project, so-called INT 2020 project, on the enhancing capacity building to promote successful decommissioning and environmental remediation projects. Moreover, my colleagues from the Department of Nuclear Safety and Security, it means decommissioning safety specialists, are developing and implementing the training courses. We call them as modules on decommissioning safety. Development of such trainings was supported by extra budgetary contribution from the Nuclear Regulatory Authority of Japan, by the way. These courses include basic training modules, specialized training modules, and some additional modules. Unfortunately, again, due to COVID restrictions, we had some delays with organizing of some training courses, but we continue this activity. On this slide, you can see the list of our current international projects. Recently, we have finished the collaborative project on global status on decommissioning of nuclear installations, and we expect for publication of the report soon. This project was a study to evaluate current status of decommissioning of nuclear power plants, research reactors, and fuel cycle facilities in the world, such as future trends in decommissioning. We expect that this project will be like a cycled project. And after some time, 5 years, we expect we will open new cycle of the project. Last years, we put more and more attention to evaluate the new and emerging technologies to advance the decommissioning project. Also, we are managing the project on human resources development for decommissioning of graphite reactors, project on decommissioning of small medical industrial research facilities, transition from operation to decommissioning, small modular reactors designs for decommissioning, circular economy consideration, using e-tools for competence building on decommissioning and environmental remediation. Also, we have started the coordinated research project on fast reactors decommissioning, and for the moment we are waiting for proposals. International conferences. Now I would like to introduce one of the biggest IAEA events planned for the next year, the International Conference on Nuclear Decommissioning, addressing the past and ensuring the future. It will take place from 15 to 19th of May next year in Vienna, Austria. I put on my slide the link on the web page of these conferences. Now we are working on draft of agenda and plan to cover the topics on infrastructure and frameworks for effective and efficient decommissioning, planning and preparing decommissioning, implementing of decommissioning, completing of decommissioning projects, and perspectives on enhancing decommissioning effectiveness and efficiency. Another conference. With this slide, I would like to introduce another IAEA big event, also a conference. This conference has quite a long name, long title. Conference on the Safety of Radioactive Waste Management, Decommissioning and Environmental Protection and Remediation, Integrated Approach to Strengthening Sustainable Development. It will take place also next year, in the beginning of November in Vienna, Austria. Organization of this event is under responsibility of our colleagues from the Department of Nuclear Safety and Security. And what this conference will cover. So, safety and sustainable development. It's an interesting topic because earlier we told only about safety. Safety must be priority. Yes, of course, but next year we will talk about safety and sustainable development. Existing interrelations between safety and sustainability. Okay. We will consider, at least we try to consider, how safety and sustainability can be addressed in an integrated way, and how safety and sustainability, if pragmatic approaches for these interrelations is possible on practice. Okay, now, one more activity to be performed by the IAEA is organization of review missions and advisory services based on the request of member states, means countries. In particular, the IAEA organized a number of review missions in Japan to evaluate the progress of the Fukushima Daiichi decommissioning activities. Recently, this year, there was a mission in Indonesia to review the national decommissioning program of the research reactors in Indonesia. To have such missions, the IAEA should discuss with counterparts, member states, and prepare the detailed program and to create a team of international experts. In the end of missions, the team of international experts should prepare a report with conclusions such as recommendations and or suggestions for further improvement. The IAEA safety standards, such as other IAEA documents, are used as a basis for preparation of recommendations and suggestions. So I would like to demonstrate commonly used peer review mission. Abbreviation is Artemis. This is an integrated review service for radioactive waste and spent fuel management, decommissioning, and remediation programs. This peer review is intended for facility operators. I would like to focus operators and other implementing organizations, and after that also for regulators, government agencies, policymakers, but first for industrial side. For the moment, Artemis missions are requested mostly by the European countries. And last but not least, IAEA is actively cooperating with so-called collaborating centers. There is a link, on this slide for more details. What does it mean to be collaborating center of the IAEA? First of all, an official agreement should be signed between the IAEA and particular organization. There is a work plan as part of the agreement. Duration usually is 4 years, but can be extended. We use, my section, we use collaborating centers for organizations of the IAEA events, meetings, workshops, training courses, scientific visits, plus for development of materials, including training materials for different decommissioning topics. For the time being, my section working is with 5 collaborating centers. One of them is JAEA, and we're happy from Japan, and we're happy to cooperate in the area of characterization of facilities for decommissioning and security. Now it's time to go to the next part of my presentation, and I'm glad to present some information about socio-economical impact of decommissioning and some positive experience when decommissioning contributes to regional developments. Contributes to local economy and local community. Very often, when we say end of life of facility, it means the end of normal and stable life conditions that were before the shutdown. We don't have publications directly addressed to the interface between decommissioning and regional development. At the same time, we have documents which demonstrate how socio-economic impact from decommissioning was managed, how strategy or plan for future use of industrial site was discussed and established, and how important to involve all relevant interested parties, stakeholders, in this process. Mainly, I use the examples from the IAEA technical report, number 464, but I added titles of publications, including the OECD publication that addressed to stakeholders' involvement in decommissioning of facilities, nuclear programs in general, and in decision-making process. It means this one. First, I would like to present some experience from decommissioning of downrange site located on north coast of Scotland in the UK. This was the fast breeder reactor research site. For more than 50 years known as the center of the United Kingdom's fast reactor research and development. This was large, and I think this is large industrial site with a big number of workers in past, and of course it was the most relevant taxpayer in the region. After shutdown, there was a problem with redeployment and re-employment of staff, workers, and of course it was clear that final shutdown of site of facility would cause negative impact to local economy and local community. In this regard, I would like to focus first of all on the support of government, of the UK government. The specialized authority was established to deal with the commissioning of 20 civil nuclear sites. And the name of this authority is Nuclear Decommissioning Authority, but usually we use NDA abbreviation. In accordance with the Energy Act law, the Nuclear Decommissioning Authority should give encouragement and other support to activities that benefit the social or economic life of community living near designated installations. Plus, there was a positive experience of development of the socio-economic development plans to cover addressed to development of local economy and business based on the vision of local community. It was crucially important to prepare so-called socio-economic baseline with description of situation on site and around the site. Secondly, an agreed vision of the community of future situation should be created. To do this, I mean to prepare baseline and create a future vision. So there was a need to create the socio-economic working group and to discuss socio-economic development strategy. After that, having in mind baseline and vision, the detailed socio-economic development plan has been prepared. These slides demonstrate great cooperation with stakeholders. First of all, with local communities. You can see who was represented in the Downray socio-economic working group. This group was responsible for creation of vision and development socio-economic plan. And by the way, the NDA, Nuclear Decommissioning Authority, played important role in establishing of a set of site stakeholders groups for each of its 20 sites. We could hear about this in previous presentation. These groups hold their meetings in public and the press are also in attendance. The issue of socio-economic development is discussing regularly, actually every 3 months. And I put pictures from the web page of these stakeholders groups, and if you would like, you can visit this web page. Next example is about Ignalina nuclear power plant located in Lithuania, in Europe. This NPP has 2 RBMK type of reactors, similar to Chernobyl NPP reactors. There was a political decision about early shutdown of both units. It caused serious problems with management of workers and negative impact to local economy and population. The following actions were taken to manage negative impact and to contribute to regional development. First, the Regional Development Council and Regional Development Agency was created. The Regional Development Plan or strategy was developed and implemented to regenerate the region from the social and economic points of view and ensure the creation of new jobs in a balanced development. Later, based on this plan, the following documents prepared and implemented: Small and Medium Enterprise Development Program, an Infrastructure Development Plan, and Social Support Development Program. In addition, the Business Grant Scheme was implemented in 2003. Moreover, the local initiatives and youth programs of the region have also been prepared and administrated. The non-governmental organization sector is being supported in this program, ensuring that the whole community would be able to develop by making use of the full available potential. The best projects were supported as judged in a contest. And last but not least, so-called Ignalina Nuclear Power Plant Regional Business Incubator was established in Visaginas. So Visaginas is the city, but actually it's not the city, it's a small town created, developed for NPP workers and their families. And this business incubator was established to provide information and consulting services for businessmen, as well as leasing premises on easy terms for the newly established enterprises. The next example I would like to present is Greifswald nuclear power plant in Germany. There was 5 units of VVR 440 reactors type operated. Site is located on the north of Germany. There was a huge industrial site, and NPP was the most relevant taxpayer in the region, with large number of workers also. All units were shut down based on political decision during 2 years, and large decommissioning project has been started. Of course, there were many issues, technical and non-technical, to be managed and solved on-site as part of decommissioning, in particular human resources issues, first of all. In parallel, there were big questions about the future use of site and how to mitigate negative subsequences of closure of such huge facility for the local economy and population. It should be recognized that Greifswald NPP, of course, was a large taxpayer, as I told you. I would like to focus on creating of governmental organization, as not similar, but like in the UK case, so-called AWN, Energiewerke Nord in Deutsch, responsible for the commissioning of several nuclear facilities, including Greifswald. In this regard, the complex personnel development strategy and the site reuse strategy for industrial purposes were developed to manage and mitigate the negative socio-economic impacts on the staff and the local communities, including the following plans: personnel reduction plan, personnel development plan, and site development plan or strategy to seek to secure future industrial use of the site. Again, what I would like to focus is involvement and great cooperation with stakeholders. To have this, the following actions should be implemented or have been implemented on Greifswald site. To work closely with local community and create a joint body representing the 3 local communities living around. To discuss together and establish a vision for future use of site, perspectives for local economy, and then to develop a strategy for implementation. To communicate regularly with public, to have understanding and acceptance of the strategy adopted, to engage the trade unions, to gain support implementation of the strategy, to interact with governmental bodies and regulators, our discussion-making process. It was important also to establish an open and easily understandable consultation and communication process with local population and local media. That is important. This was supported by clear public information on all decommissioning activities and other important items regarding site development activities. One more example is from France and about the Super Phoenix nuclear power plant. There was a 1,200 megawatt sodium-cooled fast reactor commissioned in 1986, and shutdown happened very soon. So it happened in 1997 due to political decision. Again, governmental support played a very important role, first of all, for re-employment of NPP workers. The economic program and the Social and Economic Development Fund were established to support the development of activities, creating or maintaining jobs in the area, and some significant amount, I hope for that time, 11 million of euros loaned by government and EDF over a 5 years period. I should say that in this case there was no so serious impact to local economy like in previous examples, and success of the program was helped by several factors, such as positive context of local and regional economies, loans, means credits granted at a zero rate for development of local business, if the proposed projects was reasonable, plus creation of a long approval commission chaired by a representative of the regional prefect. As a result, social and economic measures implemented together with good health of regional economy at that time helped mitigate the consequences of unexpected shutdown of facility. And of course, I should emphasize the significant progress achieved by Japan in the commissioning of Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant and in the surrounding area. During the IAEA General Conference in September this year, Japanese delegation prepared an excellent side event with several impressive presentations addressed not only to the technical achievements in the commissioning, but also to significant reconstruction progress of the surrounding area, where local industries and infrastructures are being restored. Many thanks to organizers of this symposium for the opportunity to have more detailed presentations from Japanese colleagues about the commissioning and regional development in Japan. And in addition, I put the title of the OECD NIA report called From Recovery to Resilience, Designing a Sustainable Future for Fukushima. I found many relevant topics in this regard as well. Summary. I think I'm in good timing. Okay. I would like to conclude both parts of my presentation and make the following summary. IAEA continues collaborating activity with member states in different decommissioning areas and encourages Japanese experts to participate in the IAEA projects and events. Planning of facility decommissioning should cover on-site issues such as human resources plan, technical preparedness, funding, and others, as well as socio-economic impact of local population and regional economy. I mean, actions for future use of industrial site, such as development of new business entities in region or surrounding areas, should be taken into account for sure. Early involvement of interested parties, stakeholders, is important to identify baseline situation in region, create a vision of future use of site and development of other industry and business, and to establish a plan or program or strategy to achieve the goals. Governmental support, such as creating of specialized bodies, is very important for successful redevelopment of nuclear sites and regional development. Sharing of lessons learned on managing of socio-economic impact from decommissioning, including positive experience on decommissioning and regional development, is needed, and Japanese experience is very, very welcomed. Okay, decommissioning is final stage of facility lifetime, but not the end of life. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Tatiana-san. It's a very comprehensive presentation. And we have two Japanese audience of the online seminar. The first one is related to the clearance materials. Does the IAEA have any activities for the recycling materials from decommissioning? So recycling, the guideline for the recycling materials.
Actually, yes, I didn't put on my presentation, but again, so we have two reports, two safety reports. It means more detailed documents, publications about conditional clearance, and these reports are telling about how to establish clearance levels for reuse and recycling to cover conditional, unconditional clearance. We know that clearance can be unconditional. It means no restriction for future use of materials, and so-called conditional clearance, with some of restrictions. For instance, materials can be used, but in some particular areas of industry. So if needed, I can provide with a number of this report, how to establish level, and then how to confirm these levels, were established and work successfully.
Okay.
But the main task is to revise the IAEA guidances, high-level documents.
Okay, so thank you. So let me have the document. And the second question is, are there any difference for the decommissionings between the damaged reactor, for example, Fukushima Daiichi, and the usual normal reactors? Difference?
Oh, this is, I think, big difference. Because, so Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, so as I remember, so you prefer to call it, and Chernobyl and PP decommissioning. So we are dealing with decommissioning of damaged reactors, And actually, before real decommissioning plan will be implemented, so these facilities should be actually applied, and some list of measures actually should be implemented to create so-called safety conditions on these NPPs. So this is a big difference. Planning of radiation protection, etc.
Thank you very much. And ではちょっと会場の方からご質問ありましたらお受けしたいと思います。で、ご質問いただくときはそこに置いておりますマイクのところまでちょっと近づいていただいてご質問いただけたらと思います。日本語でも英語でも結構です。で、我々のもう言ってください。若干サポートをいたします。いらっしゃいませんかね。ないですかね。若干余裕はありますが、じゃあこれでタチアナさんのご講演は終了ということにしたいと思います。So, thank you very much, Tatiana.